Hey there, Dream Chasers. This is Hannah Pryde, and welcome to Pryde and Shine, the podcast where we explore the innovators and influencers of Dubai. Proudly sponsored by Pryde Migration, your dedicated partner to make Dubai your reality. Welcome to the show, AlHamad, founder of Aysthetic, which is phenomenal, and former managing director of
Aysthetic Medical Group.
Aysthetic Medical Group. We all know that I'm dyslexic, so thank you for helping out. But thank you so much for coming to Dubai. Honestly, you're phenomenal. You're one of these female entrepreneurs that I now look up to, and especially for being in Dubai for such a short period of time. Tell me, how have you achieved so much in the medical and aesthetics area within Dubai?
I think the most important thing, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm very excited. I'm very excited because I like talking to people that are very positive and it's very fun. I'm excited because it's a fun podcast for me. It's not just one of those boring interviews or whatever it is. It's just us talking.
Yeah.
So I think the secret is to succeeding in Dubai is to be focused. Mm-hmm. So find your niche, find what you like, find your passion, and just follow it. So that's what I've done. Like all my life, I knew what I wanted. All my life, I liked the medical scene. Mm-hmm. And when I got introduced to the aesthetic scene, that's where I fell in love.
And I think you went into it at the time that everyone kind of blew up. I mean, we've all seen Molly May's mishap when she looked like a hamster, and we've all been probably put too much filler and whatnot in us and then pulled it all back out.
Been there.
I think we all
Been
have.
there. Been there.
But it's crazy, don't you think, that like in a world now that we have Facetune and FaceApp and all these editorial things, that people have become a little bit addicted to filler, and you got in at that like pinnacle moment that everyone started jumping on the wagon.
The thing is, I don't blame them. It's because of the social media as well. Mm-hmm. There was a moment when Instagram was started in 2016. And when Instagram started, everyone started seeing what's happening outside of their communities and countries. Because what we watch on TV, sometimes we watch focused media. Focused media is what we watch, like, okay, I'm Syrian, okay? In Syria, we watch what's happening in the Middle East. Sometimes we watch movies. But when Instagram, you start seeing, okay, this girl posted a photo. Oh, I love her makeup. I want to do the same. And this girl, she posted that she had lip fillers. And this girl get influenced. It's all about, it's kind of a peer pressure, but social media style.
100%.
So especially as a teenager, so I can't blame anybody because I remember I was like, okay, I started seeing, which is not something I'm proud of, by the way. I was obsessed with the Kardashians for a minute.
I think everyone was.
It's not something to be proud of, especially as a woman that wanted to be very successful and entrepreneur. I like to be inspired by women that are successful. Mm-hmm. Kim K is successful. But we all admired her. We all admired her style, her hair, her makeup. So I kind of wanted to I wanted to look a little bit like that. Yeah. So I'm guilty. So if I'm the one that is just like, I'm hardly influenced by anybody, I did that. So let alone everyone else with, how girls can be influenced very easily. Yeah. And every girl wants to be beautiful.
100%. And I think, do you know what, when we spoke about it briefly before the podcast, when you invest in yourself, it shows you have self-respect.
Yeah.
And I think you've said something really important there. You wanted to be successful like Kim Kardashian, and I guess you've kind of walked in her footsteps in a sense because you put yourself to be her. You wanted to look pretty, you wanted to be successful, you wanted to be within that area. And I think it's a topic now people really speak on, is pretend or try and be the person you want to be in the future. Whether that be,
not to be misunderstood. I never wanted to be her. I'm just saying I liked the way she looked. So I liked her style, the colors she picks, the makeup and everything at that point. And I was like 18 years old, 17. And for me, that was like, when I was 18, I was 16. Yeah. When I was 20, I was 18. So I kind of was a late bloomer. So I remember I was influenced. So I went and I did my lip fillers and I overdid it. So it looked bad. So at some point and then after the years working in the industry, I realized, okay, you know what? Less is more.
100%.
I actually am convinced that less is more. I had to go through these experiences, overfilling, overdoing until I realized, okay, less is more.
And you know, that's such an amazing thing to realize, because I've noticed so many influencers recently that used to have boob jobs and lip jobs, and now they're getting all the implants taken out and everything. And I'm like, wow, you look even more feminine than what you looked like when you had all this stuff that in hindsight you thought you were going to look prettier with.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to open a controversial topic, but I feel like the more you do surgeries, the more you would look like. Okay, how do I say? We can cut that. You
No,
look like a
don't worry.
transgender woman because the women that
Yeah.
get like all these surgeries is just it's like when the male goes through these surgeries to look like a female, and when we try to do that, we kind of look like that.
Of course.
And you just now I was like, you know what? I want to show the real me, so I'm trying to do less. Last year, I dissolved all my fillers.
Wow.
All of them. And I put so much dissolver in my face. I think I lost my original skin and my original tissue. And then I refilled again but much less.
Yeah, and I think that's what everyone's doing, but also that's great for someone that's in the industry, that you can then tell your following, you can then tell the people that are coming through your clinic store to be like, don't do it too much and look at the more natural aspect. I think Charlotte Tilbury, which is a makeup brand that I absolutely adore, I think they really hit the nail in the coffin at the very start when she launched into market, that you had MAC makeup that was all about changing and being like really over exaggerating, which is amazing, but Charlotte Tilbury kind of influenced everyone to just elevate what you already have.
Exactly.
And I think that's people like yourself, that's what they're really showing into the market now, is we don't need to change, we just need to enhance what we already have to make it even more glowy or even more shiny or even more anti-aging, which is unreal.
So the approach now, and especially with my message that me as a personal brand and my company, is to bring out the best in yourself, not to change yourself, not to go through surgeries and change yourself. No, just enhance what you were created, how God created you. Just enhance your natural beauty. That's why I recommend the natural treatments and the natural approach, not the too synthetic, not to use too much chemicals, to go more natural. So that's why I'm a big fan of treatments like polynucleotides, PRF.
I'm obsessed with all
these. is what's honestly like PRF. If you are consistent with PRF, you will see amazing results. Like honestly, if you see it's your own body producing these growth factors, and you're injecting them back. You're injecting them concentrated back into your skin, your face, your hair, even your hair. When you inject PRF in your hair, it starts getting thicker and longer. But it's all about consistency.
Yeah.
Everything you do in your life is about consistency. Whether it's the gym, whether it's your career, and your beauty treatments.
100%. And I think that's where people miss the mark. People go for like a treatment, let's say polynucleotides, and think they're going to get an overnight success, but in reality you're absolutely red raw, looking like you've just put your face in a fish fire.
That's it. But I always say the secret is, if you want to see a progress in your skin, you always look at your photos a year before and then continue doing these treatments and stick to these treatments. You have a plan, your doctor gave you like a 3-month plan, a 6-month plan, a year plan. Do that and then compare your skin to last year, and then you'll see the difference.
Yeah, just like what you would do in business, just like what you would do in the gym. And I think that is the secret to everyone's success. The clientele that are coming through your door, are those, would you say, entrepreneurial, that they're wanting to make themselves feel healthier, look healthier, to be more confident in their role?
So just to revisit the topic of Aysthetic. Aysthetic is a health consultancy that kind of majored in setting up the clinics.
Okay.
So the business is setting up businesses. It's a B2B kind of, but at the same time there's a B2C. I'll explain it to you. The majority is B2B, but why do I say selective? Selective is because when my company is setting up a new clinic, I want to add value to this market. I want this new clinic to actually do a change or do something different, not just another number of clinic, like not just an addition to another. There's a lot of clinics in Dubai.
There's loads.
And honestly, like, it's just becoming, it's very saturated market. And now it's becoming confusing to people. And I feel like the problem is with these health consultancy, they're not giving the right advice to these investors. So I kind of want to do something different when it comes to that. When an investor or a clinic owner or a doctor coming to me, they're telling me we want to open a clinic, it's very important to understand that they know what they are doing or what they want. What's the message they're trying? What do they want to give to people? Because you know what, you want to inject more fillers, don't open a clinic.
Yeah.
There's a lot of clinics out there doing that. But if you have a brand, if you have, let's say, a niche treatment that doesn't exist anymore, and people want to travel from around the world to come to Dubai and get this treatment, I kind of want to do that, increase medical tourism. It's important for me because I feel like Dubai is such a beautiful country, So much is happening, but when it comes to quality, it's hard to find.
So hard to find. And it's actually, there's two things I really want to pick on there. I think you're 100% correct in people getting the wrong advice. Obviously, I've helped people move their business over to Dubai. And people have said, I want to open up a clinic. And I generally say it's the hardest thing ever, because you need to get, is it your
DHA.
Yeah, DHA, which can take a year, 18 months to get in some cases. It's not a fast process all the time.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, some people get it faster, I know that, but
You mean as a doctor or a clinic?
A doctor and a clinic, because I've looked at both sides, and I'm like, you actually are better, and it's great to have met you in person, going to someone that's specialised within it.
That's what we do.
Yeah, and that's what I say to people in Dubai, especially that are moving to Dubai, find the person that is a specialist within that area. Instead of going to like a general business setup person, go to someone that specialises in just clinics, because it can be so hard. And you'll know yourself, Dubai is all about collaboration, networking, and it's who you know to get the clinic open at the fastest rate.
Exactly. And it's the thing is, the health consultancies, okay, my company, it's invite only, it's selective, it's completely different. And there's like 200 consultancy.
Yeah.
These 200 consultants, they just wanna open clinics for you. They don't care. Okay, what do you want to open? Do you have a doctor? You don't. I don't care. I just want to take your money and then you go with your life. That's not something I want to do, because when I set up the last project, when I mentioned in the beginning, which was the biggest clinic, it was my heart and soul was in it. Like, I actually put my heart is like, you walk into the clinic and you find every corner there was my passion, my hard work, my sweat in there. Then that made it different, made it unique and successful, and they're doing really good, and I'm very proud of them.
You should be. It's amazing.
I'm very happy. I spent 2 years running that place, and then the owner is there all the time, and I'm just like, you know what, you don't need me anymore, because everything is set up.
Yeah.
I'm very happy that every time I see it, just makes me so happy. And this is all the clients I want to work with. I have to feel like that. I have to sleep at night knowing, this is a successful clinic that is bringing amazing results to people. It's adding value to the UAE medical scene. It's not just another clinic. That's very important for me.
100%, because in Dubai as general, you want a luxury, you want a high-end service, you want someone that looks after you. And I mean, I find it crazy that people are coming to Dubai and doing filler in their kitchens or in their living rooms, because I'm like, would you not be terrified? Like, back home, I would never not go to like a dentist or a doctor if I was to get anything done. And I think it's crazy when people firstly jump from doctor to doctor, because everyone's got a different eye and a different work, and then separately goes to someone's kitchen. Like, what if something went wrong?
Exactly.
What?
The people don't think and don't consider, and it's coming from somebody that's been through experiences. You need to consider when you're getting or choosing an injector, complications. A good doctor is not just a doctor that is giving you a beautiful lip or giving you beautiful results. It's a doctor that can if something happens, they can contraindict if something goes wrong, they can reverse it.
100%.
How a doctor deals with a problem says everything about that doctor. Everything. There's a lot of doctors that panic. When a doctor is panicking, they're not practiced enough. They're not ready to be doctors. The doctor needs to inject and make beautiful results, but at the same time remain calm when something happens and reverses that result.
100%. And I think you're so right on what you're saying in every single aspect. When it comes to being invite only, what made you want to be an invite only consultant?
It's the same concept that I was saying. It's invite only. It's because we don't approach the clients, clients approach us.
Amazing.
So they go through an application process. I sit with them, I assess what's their brand. Most of my clients are brands that exist already outside of Dubai, but they want to expand into the Middle East. And that's the preferred clientele that I have. Speaking to people from Ireland, speaking to people from Paris, Germany, in the process, and I'm assessing at the moment if they're going to be successful or not, if their brand is strong enough to survive in this market. You need to be a shark in here.
I know. Tell me about it. I think, do you know what? People come to Dubai and think everyone makes money and everyone's an overnight success, and whatever industry they go into, whether it's beautician, whether it's real estate, they're just going to come here and make millions and millions of pounds, where they actually forget the outweighing cost is at the start to set up any company. And that is where they sink or they fly. And
That's
it's
true.
the person that can survive the hit after hit, the bad reputation and everything else in between. It's absolutely wild. What would you say defines a good brand or a strong brand within your industry in Dubai?
A good brand is someone that is consistent with their message. Meaning is that, okay, you know, they started this clinic for a reason and they still follow the same reason that made them open it in the first place. Because people just lose themselves in the process.
Yeah.
They start getting money hungry. They start getting, okay, you know what, I need to start focusing on making money, and they forget the original message. And the original message could be sometimes, you know what, a lot of people suffer with hair loss. I want to change that.
Yeah.
I want to be that clinic that helps people and that gives good results, because honestly, if you focus on results, you will make money.
100%.
You will make money. But if you focus only on money, and then you will not succeed. It's temporary success. Because money follows success. Always, always, always. But you need short successes, small successes following each other, not just a big jump and then nothing after.
Yeah. And I think, do you know, that's in every area of business, and anyone listening, it's something they need to really think of when they come to Dubai. Because sometimes back in the UK or different markets, the market, whether it be, again, aesthetics, can be quite small. It can be a small town mentality. When you come to Dubai, like you said, there are so much competition that if you have an overnight success, say you get one celebrity through the door, there's other clinics that get a celebrity through the door every single day.
True.
You have to be consistent with the results, and you know yourself, word of mouth is the key over here.
You've said it. You've said it.
Genuinely the key.
It is the key, and that's what I want to do in this field, because I saw it's a mess. Because when I was in my country, okay, there's a good doctor. People know this doctor is good and he does this. I trust him. I'll go to him. In here, nobody knows anything. And that's where I want to do. I want to make a change. And this is like, you know what, it's time for people to know what they're doing. And then there's a lot of doctors, there's a lot of ads, there's a lot of edited photos, and people get scammed. I don't want to say anything to offend anybody, but people get scammed.
100%.
Photoshop pictures, and you know what? I've worked with these doctors. I know who's good, who's not.
Yeah.
So this is why people message me all the time. I am going to see that doctor. What do you think? And I say, I don't care if that doctor is paying me or not. I will recommend him if he's good. I have a lot of doctors I send patients to, and they don't even know that I'm sending patients
That's
to.
so good. And do you know, that's the best thing about Dubai, going back to how good your reputation is. If your reputation's good, you will have someone that speaks your name in a room you're not into at such a high level.
That's it.
That they'll come to you. And do you know, it's the best. Like, I say to people, that's how it should be. I do have an opinion, no, not an opinion, a question for you. What is your thought on when people go to these clinics, let's say, and it's on one of these apps or services in Dubai that the girls get it for free? What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that should be not allowed, or do you think it should be allowed?
So, it's very important for marketing companies to work with influencers, for clinics to work with marketing companies, influencers, etc. But there's a limit to everything. Each influencer should be exclusive to a clinic, and she should be genuine. The problem is not with collaborating with influencers. The problem is that influencer, same one, is going to different clinics every day. So where's the credibility in that? So when I bring influencers to my clinic, I make sure and I know that this influencer is happy with the service. So she tries the service. She's in love with the service. Okay, you're going to be exclusive with us then. You can't be jumping from one clinic to another. There's just nobody's going to believe you.
Yeah.
If you're talking about this doctor today and tomorrow you're like, you know what? This is the best clinic in Dubai, and tomorrow this is the best clinic in Dubai, and the day after this is the best. Okay.
Which one's actually good? I mean, do you know what I find funny is I've met influencers in Dubai that are like, I'm getting my boobs redone, and they're probably only 13. They've already had their boobs done twice. I'm like, you going back to the same clinic? Nah, but it's free and they're going to give me a bigger size. So then they're getting again their tits done. It's like different.
This is not fish market.
No, genuinely. And that's why I think now, and it's interesting to get your opinion on it, like, should influencer marketing for boob jobs, nose jobs, or anything in between be restricted, that they should maybe not be given them, because half the time you're getting botched boob jobs because they've gone to 5 different clinics, different cup sizes and everything else, or they're getting a really botched face, and I'm like, what have you done? Or they're sending someone that's a shit clinic and they maybe get a good job, but everyone else behind them gets absolutely horrendous.
Exactly. You need to know something is free, and that means its cost is very cheap. When you're getting a treatment that is costing the clinic almost nothing, you need to rethink. Are they using almost expired products? Are they using cheaper hospitals? You need to know, if you're getting a surgery, that's a red line.
Yeah.
You should never get a surgery for free. Ever.
Glad you said it.
You should pay your money and make sure that, the good thing about Dubai is that all the hospitals are clean. So everything is very sanitized, and this is something you don't find every country. So that's a good thing. But at the same time, when it comes to like cheap treatments, you can't just do a treatment just because it's cheap. You have to match. Is that doctor is right for me? Maybe that doctor is amazing, but is he right for you? Does he know what your body needs? Because you know what? I learned before, back in the days, we used to think doctors know everything, honestly. And now I realize, you know what? No.
They don't at all. Do you know what I think also, and it's weird you said that, when you have access to so much information now on Google or TikTok or ChatGPT, genuinely, like all these things, that's like me. But honestly, you have so much information now that you kind of think like a doctor can't know everything. There's too much information for them to know, and that's why sometimes I think it's good to chop and change. Whether you're going for a certain treatment, go to a certain doctor, because then they can specialise and know it probably with their eyes shut, because they do it so often. Whereas if you're getting a doctor who's doing a nose job, then a boobs job, then a tummy tuck, like how can they know everything with that much in-depth detail?
Exactly. I always say I respect a doctor that commits to a specific signature treatment. I mean, obviously they're going to learn everything, but each doctor has their own signature treatment. And I love doctors that, like, some doctors are know-it-all doctors.
Yeah.
They wouldn't tell you, I do threads the best, I do fillers the best, I do endolift the best. I'm sorry, no, you don't.
Yeah.
Because the good doctor will tell you, you know, I can do all that for you, but my specialty is, let's say, a nose job. My specialty is liposuction. Like, this is the thing, I really respect that, and I admire doctors like that. They know what they're good at, they know, and they tell you, listen, you know what, my colleague, he's amazing at that, I can refer you to him, and he'll do your nose, I'll do your body, something like that. You know what I mean? Just an example. I know that's a lot of surgeries.
No, but I do think, and that happens in Dubai, but I do think that's good. And what's your opinion on collaboration? Because that is, again, starting saying doctors should work on referrals and collaboration. What's your opinion on collaboration within your market in Dubai?
Collaboration with?
So like you, as you just said, like you coming to me and say I was a nose surgeon, and be like, I'm a good nose surgeon, but use this doctor as a BBL surgeon or a boob surgeon. Do you see that a lot happening in Dubai?
Not really, no.
Really?
No, it's not happening, unfortunately. I've seen some cases when it's happening, but a lot of cases where they just want to take the patient to themselves, and they just want to do everything, even if they're risking something, like the clinic, they just want to take that patient to themselves, even if they don't offer everything, you know?
Yeah.
Like, they don't offer the best service out of everything. They just want to make sure that the patient comes to only them, which is not wrong for a patient to go to multiple clinics, but to do different things. Okay, I do that personally. I go for hair removal at a specific clinic because, well, machines are all the same, but I like the nurse that uses the machine.
Yeah.
And laser hair removal, it sounds simple, but it's not that simple.
Of course.
You need a good nurse to do that. You need to know the nurse knows your skin tone. Does it match with the wavelength that they're using? They're using it correctly. They're checking your medical history. Are you taking antibiotics? Pregnancy, all these stuff. Like, that's a good nurse. That's a good laser nurse. So I know where to go when I want to do my this because I'm comfortable and I got used to this nurse. And if I want to do lip filler, I have a doctor I really love. She's amazing, and she just makes me feel comfortable, and I like the results, and it matches my face.
Of course.
So, and I go for my face, a doctor, a completely different one.
Yeah.
For my skin and for my skin health, there's this skin therapist that I absolutely love. She's Romanian. She's amazing. She does everything for me, and nobody else can touch my face.
That's like me with my friend Rebecca. I'm like, sit me up. But I'll go to doctors, and sometimes I want to do a skin booster, I want to do that. I'm like, absolutely no way. I only trust this person.
Yeah.
And I do think, as you said, that's how you get your best results. It's just going to the person that specializes in that specific area.
Yeah. It's not wrong to choose as long as a patient you think about what's best for you. And don't just get, sometimes they oversell you.
Yeah.
And you're just in the moment. You're like, you know what, I'm going to do this. No, choose what's best for you. It's important. Even if that makes me more money, if you're doing all the treatments at my clinic.
Yeah.
But as a patient, you should think about what's best for you.
100%. And when you set up your business or started your business within Dubai, all in 2019, what was your biggest struggle at that time, moving here?
And I didn't set up my business in 2019, actually.
I
was a medical rep.
Oh, right, okay. So
I was working in pharma because I initially started my career because I studied pharmacy and I did masters in lab medicine. And I moved to Dubai on a job contract. It wasn't actually my choice to come here. It was just that, you know what? I have a job offer. Let me explore. I really want to grow. Since I was a kid, I wanted to grow as a businesswoman. So I've always had that. You know, I had the tunnel vision. But I came and it was just like, pure pharma. Not really sure it's my thing. Because I loved visiting hospitals, because you get to visit all these hospitals, meet all these doctors, and it was amazing for me. It was fun. People make fun of me. Like, how amazing is that? It's tiring. I used to enjoy it. I used to enjoy it. Walking into these hospitals, meeting these doctors, it was fun for me. But then I realized, you know, when I worked for a line, it was Dermaline, aesthetic. I was like, whoa, this is what I love. I want to do that. So I shifted to aesthetic, stayed in pharma, but aesthetic pharma.
Okay.
So, and this is how I evolved corporate life. It was just corporate. I was medical rep, then key account manager, then brand manager, brand supervisor, brand manager, and then managing director, and now business owner.
And would you advise anyone that's moving over to Dubai, come actually over and get a job, figure out the market, grow your connects before you set up a business?
Never set up a business immediately, unless you're 35 and you have business back home, you know, and you know what you're doing. But if you were my age, when I moved here, I was 23, and that was like, I was new. I can't just set up. I didn't even imagine setting up a business at that time because I wanted to learn.
Yeah.
And every day I'm learning. Even today, like I'm learning, okay, I'm setting up a business. Can I do this? Can I not do this? I have a lot to learn, you know? But no, I advise everyone coming to the UAE, and they have to get a job first, get to know, especially if they want to do what I do, get to know the industry, the market. Don't just start like that. You really need to get to know. This job, corporate life, gave me the information that I have today.
Yeah.
I know all these doctors because of that job, so I'm an ode to that career that I have.
And it's interesting you said that. Do you think your network then has really been able to rocket off your business because you have such a good foundation with all these doctors and nurses and people within your industry?
100%. Because imagine opening a clinic and hiring a doctor and not knowing if they're good or not. But for me, I already had that covered.
Yeah.
I know what these doctors has been doing throughout the years, how much fillers they're using, like what's their order, because I was the supplier.
Yeah.
And I know the numbers, how much do they order, how many patients do they see. Okay, they're making good money. Are they making 200,000? Are they making 800,000? Are they $1 million doctor or $500,000? So you have all these information prior to that. So that kind of helped me set up the clinic. Not just helped me, it actually was everything.
Yeah, because you've got the background information that can be really hard to find if you don't. You're just kind of going by word of mouth, but you actually have all the numbers and data, which plateaus you into your market you're in. When you set up your business, and now you're obviously a business owner in Dubai, do you ever struggle with imposter syndrome, being in Dubai, being around successful people? Because we'll both know ourselves, we're both entrepreneurs. It can be quite hard to be a woman within this market and stand your ground without men going, nope, listen to me. How do you find it?
I've always been a tough bitch.
You have to be.
I've always been, honestly, like, I feel like I was lucky enough that I had more male businessmen around me that they trusted me.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't really feel like, I was that woman that is struggling. I don't think I was. It is a struggle because women always are expected to do less than men, but
Yeah.
I think once you start building, in the beginning it's tough, but once you build that name, people start trusting
Listening.
you automatically.
100%.
So,
I do think, I said this on another podcast, I think men are really good leaders, but I actually think female are better because they're emotional, they're softer, and they'll sometimes gather an audience and be listened to actually better with whispers than a man will, because they're just so used to seeing a man. Whereas sometimes when a woman walks across the stage or stands in front of a room, they're like, wow, look at that pretty woman, let me actually listen to her. Do you know what I mean?
Let me just listen to it's just funny because they always expect that you don't know what you're doing or you don't know what you're saying, but then when you start talking and when they see your result, they're actually impressed and they're in appreciation. So I find I'm surrounded by a lot of businessmen that respect me, and I never had that problem with they're they're undermining me or anything.
Yeah.
No, I was lucky enough that I had a lot of support from businessmen in particular.
Yeah, that's good. You always need strong foundations behind you. I always say that. People to fall back on and people to call up when you say, I need a bit of help. Give me some advice.
Exactly. So I didn't fight. It is challenging to prove yourself, but it was the challenge. It wasn't the men or the people. It was myself. Like, I always wanted to know more. I always wanted to learn. I always wanted to have an answer to every question. I just have this thing about me where if you ask me a question, I need to know the answer.
Yeah.
So if I don't know the answer, I would just feel terrible. I would go somewhere and I Google it. I just need to know the answer.
That's why we love ChatGPT now.
Now it's ChatGPT. That's my best friend. Her name is Amber. What's her name?
I've not named mine.
Name her.
Really?
It'll be more fun. Hi, Amber. I'm like, hey, Amber.
I was actually saying this morning, I do not come off ChatGPT. It's always on like my phone for numbers, for absolutely everything, anything.
It's scary though.
I know.
Like, I'm just like, you know what? It's two sides because it's scary. What if it stops immediately and then I'm going to have to count on myself only? And then the second thing, what are we counting on it too much as well? Like, sometimes I feel like maybe I'm counting on it too much, that I'm just like, in a minute I'm going to be like, can you do the dishes?
But then how do you think, like, I know how it's benefited me as a business owner. As I said, dyslexic, shit with spelling, shit with reading. I now can chuck it in there, it'll write me a full contract, an email, it'll work out my numbers, and it will just refer to little things. I personally don't think AI is going to overtake my job. I'm Hannah, I'm a personality, I want to meet you and speak to you, but it assists me and makes me far more productive, and stuff that would maybe take me an hour or 2 hours to be like, is that right? Go back and forth, now takes a matter of minutes.
You know what? I hate to admit it, but I think ChatGPT is the best thing that was invented.
So do I. After the internet, 110%.
It saved me a lot of money.
Same.
Especially with my business. I mean, assistant, I've got Amber.
Yeah.
She's my assistant, okay? She does everything I want her to do. You know, I just wanted to pop out of the screen and have an office and sit next to me and do everything for me, and that'll be good. I think they will do that.
I think they will soon. And do you think, like, within your industry, you see AI really adapting and helping? I mean, I know I went for a consultation for a boob job, something I'd wanted for ages, and thank God AI was there. They showed me my boobs on this like 3D image, and I was like, absolutely not, scrap the boob job. I never want it. But are you seeing that more in the clinics?
The thing is, because I know exactly what gadgets you're talking about, and what tools, they're not always accurate.
Okay.
So there's a huge difference between what you see as an anticipation and what is the actual result. And then it can create a little bit of a disappointment to a lot of people, because a lot of people would see a beautiful result, and then a boob job, let's go in detail with boob job. Boob job is beautiful in the beginning, and then it's going to start dropping, and then it's going to start looking as natural as it was before. And then a lot of people be like, oh, why did I go through all that? But then they forget how it was before.
Yeah.
It is a huge difference, you know. Massive difference. So these tools, let's say, the AI tools in this industry, I don't think they're that advanced enough to anticipate the result 100%.
That's actually good to know, because I absolutely shit myself. I was like, it's probably a good thing, but I was like, never. And what are you now thinking about people, I guess, that are getting boob jobs and getting them taken out? I never even knew you could do that, but they're not even getting another implant taken in, they're getting them fully taken out.
So the only thing I have to say, the problem with taking out the implants is the loose skin.
Okay.
Because the implant over the years expands your original tissue, and then when you take it out, then this causes a little bit looseness that you need to treat over the years. So maybe when they take it out, they either do a reduction, which is, we call it the lollipop incision. So because if it depends on the size, if you're going above 400 and you're taking it all out, that's a big laxity. So that you need to actually do the lollipop incision and take out some of the excess skin, and that will leave you with a permanent scar, unless you, as I said, consistent with treating that scar. So the only thing is, I think when you want to take them out, you should take them out gradually. Like, okay, let's say you had 400. Okay, you take the 400 and you replace it with 300, and then you take the 300 and replace it, which is a lot of surgeries, and nobody wants to go through that. That's why you need to make the right decision when you get it the first time.
I know, I hope that's why I'm now not doing it. But yeah, I've seen it a lot happening. I'm like, that's really crazy, because I guess it's just trends and what people like and what people don't like. But I never even knew you could get them taken out, which just shows, I guess, what we were speaking about before, where the market's going. Less is more. People are actually appreciating what they have and not trying to change it.
I'm not against boob jobs. They're actually sometimes important, because a lot of women are born with asymmetry. So asymmetry can be it can cause a little insecurity to women at the beach, wearing clothes, and depends on the rate of asymmetry. Is it severe? Is it mediocre? It really depends. But it's very important for boobs, especially like if you know how cases of breast cancer
Yeah.
and
It's
all that.
amazing with breast cancer. It's
Yeah.
amazing what I've seen, the reconstruction and everything else.
You've got the synthetic aorta, everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's absolutely crazy. What are you seeing as the most popular treatment right now in Dubai?
In the world, it's polynucleotides.
I'm
hands
obsessed
down.
with it.
Hands down. At the moment.
Yeah.
See you next year. We'll see what it is.
Does it change yearly?
You know what? Yeah, because at some point it was skin boosters, and skin boosters for me are just hydration. So it's effective, but it's not that effective when you compare it to polynucleotides. Polynucleotides are very important. Honestly, if you're consistent with them, you will see amazing change.
They're
And mix them
unreal.
with PRF. That's my go-to. Anybody who wants to do any treatments, they should do these 2 treatments consistently, and they will see amazing results.
Yeah, I'm a big advocate for them. And honestly, I used to suffer with major acne when I was younger. 10 years ago, people from school would know bad acne. And I must have started doing all the different skin treatments probably from the age of 17, 18. Now I go get a treatment every single week. And that must be my biggest compliment is, Hannah, what the hell have you done to your skin? And I swear...
Your skin is perfect.
Polynucleosides. I promise you, polynucleosides is my best friend.
That's amazing.
But-
See, that's a confirmation.
No, genuinely, everyone get on it if you're asking where the glow's from both of us. Polynucleosides. But thank you so much for coming on. Honestly, it's been
Thank
great
you,
to
Hannah.
chat with you, and I can't wait to work with you in the future.
Thank you so much. It's been really, really fun, and I can't wait. Actually, I want to do this again, so
Yeah, we
we'll
will.
have more chats. I love it. Thank you so much.
100%. Thank you.